Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of On Point for today, the first day of August 2025. Of course, my name is Alexis Jeffers and I'm here every Friday afternoon from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. With this show, which I believe that it has grown in popularity since we started, about just over 2 years ago. When I am missing from the show, people would call and ask, well, what is up? And so I know that persons are listening, and even though it's not a call-in program, persons get some information that they think is important when it's all said and done. And so I want to welcome one and all and say good afternoon to the whole of Nevis, all 5 parishes. And I want to also say hello and good afternoon to all those folks down in St. Kitts who are listening to Von Radio 860 AM and 93.7 FM at this time. Indeed, Von Radio have a large following, not only here in the Federation, but all of our neighboring islands, Statia, St. Bart's, French and Dutch St. Martin, British and U.S. Virgin Islands, of course, Puerto Rico. And before I get out of the Caribbean, let's go south, Antigua and Barbuda, Montserrat, Dominica, going all the way down to St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, all of those countries south of us, including Trinidad and Tobago, of course, on the South American continent of, we have Guyana, yes. So we have quite a number of persons who are from those countries and islands who are living here among us, who are working here, here for various reasons, and we want to welcome one and all. Of course, let's go up north to the United States, from South Florida all the way up to the extreme northeast of the United States, New Hampshire and Maine and Vermont and those states, smaller states up there in the northeast. Come across into the heartland of America, Oklahoma, Missouri and Texas and those areas where our nationals are going to school or working or living there, whatever the case might be. And then, of course, the most western flank of the United States, you're looking at California, Oregon, Washington State, and then the whole of Canada stretching from west to east and back west again, including those cities such as Toronto, Manitoba, Quebec, yeah, all those areas we have our citizens who are there for various reasons. And I always like to mention Saskatchewan. Something about that name and that province stands out in terms of the name, yes, Saskatchewan. And then we go up to Europe, of course. We have citizens who are up there in the UK, France and Denmark and, Switzerland and wherever in Europe, and of course into Asia. But more specifically, our citizens who are there studying, working, visiting the Republic of China, Taiwan, which is one of our major allies and friends, So I think I've covered the entire globe. Well, we have Russians who are citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis as well, too. So, of course, if you're in Russia and listening, I say, what? It's probably morning there at this point in time based on the time zone. Anyway, be that as it may, let's come back to Nevis and say, listen, I just came from outside, headed here to the studios, and it's warm outside. It's very hot. And I'm asking persons to stay hydrated, get your water or take your water with you and make sure you're drinking some fluid. Not necessarily the alcoholic fluid, because that will be your demise in short order in this kind of weather. So take some water, take fruit drinks or whatever you have to hydrate your body. And of course, even though it's hot outside, it is still a beautiful day, typical Nevision day. And based on the weather that we've been following, we understand there will be some tropical wave passing through here, whether later this evening, tomorrow. So we probably would get some rain, more than likely get some rain. We need it, but it should not stop the fun and spoil the fun in any way, because the farmers will be glad. Some of us who have fruit trees and other type of crops at home will be glad for the rain. But we're hoping it's just enough to wet the earth, yes, but not to spoil the fun or prevent us from going out and enjoying this Culturama, which we'll talk about shortly. But at the top of the show, normally we start with a certain format, and we look at those families and pay respect to those families who are in the bereaved column. And I would want to start with a family over in my constituency of St. James, and that is the Perkins family. I want to say good afternoon to baby Perkins, Violet, as we know her, but most of us would know her as baby Perkins, and she would have lost her eldest son, which is Curtis Surpriser Perkins. Well, we who are old enough, we don't call these guys by their first name at all. We use the nickname, as we say. So he's Surpriser. And Surpriser perhaps would have gotten that name from his days as a Calypsonian. And many persons may not know that, but just reminding those who may have known and would have forgotten that Surpriser was one of those Calypsonians over there in the St. James area. And those were the days when persons like Labu, Eugene Brandy, and Renwick Jeffers, or Benno as we knew him, he's no longer with us, of course. And so when we listen to the tunes from Culturama then, back in the early 80s, the days of ICs and Soul Survivors, we were always intrigued and anxious to hear what Surpriser and Benno and Labo and those guys would produce. And Surpriser was there. I don't think he ever made the finals. Well, if he did, well, my mistake, I stand corrected. But he was always someone who, would give you some witty calypsos. Well, Surpriser was not only a Calypsonian, he was also a businessman, of course. He was a taxi operator, one who was an ambassador for the island of Nevis, because when persons come to Nevis, whether via the water taxi facility over there, or back in the days when he used to ply his trade out of the Vance Amri International Airport, he thought that he was the best. And he would tell you exactly what he would tell the tourists or the visitors on the tours that would make him one of the best so he claimed anyway. He was the best at what he did. And like I said, he was a businessman, he was a mechanic, he was a jack of all trade, because he was also a fisherman, he was a boat operator, he could have done it all. I believe when Islander Water Sports started, he was one of the first captains, perhaps, that his younger brother, Vincent or Plugger, would have had back then. So he was involved in many things. And he was someone who you could have engaged, and he would hold a conversation and speak about anything with authority. And that is what I liked about Surpriser. And perhaps maybe that's where his name came from. He always sprung a surprise on you. Yeah, like to pique, the things that he said would have piqued your curiosity in many ways. So he's no longer with us. He would have passed yesterday, and we want to express sympathies to the entire grieving family of his mom, like I said, baby Perkins, his wife and children, and also his siblings. Speaking of Sandra, Leah, his sisters, and of course, his brothers. And some of you may know these names, but we don't know them by their Christian name, so to speak. We all grew up with some nicknames, so many of you would know Bully, of course. Many of you would know Tringy. Many of you would know Dan. Dan works over there at On the Rocks, bartender. And many of you would know Chet. Many of you would know Starker. Well, he's a preacher now over there at Rehoboth, so but anyway, Starker, everybody knows Starker, works down at Four Seasons, and of course Plugger, his correct name is Vincent. But like I say, we are not on a Christian name basis, because if I start calling all of those Christian names like Wilson and Vincent and so forth, you would not know who I'm talking about. But those nicknames, I'm sure, stand out. Yeah, and the entire family of nieces, nephews, everyone. It's a large Perkins family, a strong and well-knitted family, as of course. And I'm going to tell you this much, that all of them are certainly feeling the loss of Surpriser at this point in time, as all of us are from that community as well. So he's a voice that we won't be hearing again, but such is life, as they say, and life is is a cycle. I've said it before. You're born, you live, and you die. And one of the things that a preacher would tell you at all times, which I heard yesterday, and I say it all the time, I mean, it's a cycle, and all of us will die at some point. Yeah, and so it's a difficult thing to accept and embrace, but it is what it is. Yeah, and so I just want to once again express my sympathies to the entire family, and we'll continue to show support and, lend a voice wherever we can to ensure the family can get through this most difficult period of time. And all of the families that are in the bereaved column at this point in time, we express sympathies from all of us here at this program and this radio station. Remember that God is in the midst of everything. In the most difficult and trying times, God is there to provide the comfort, and He put us through so many things in our lives, but of course He will never leave us or forsake us. So continue to believe and continue to trust in God. Okay, let's move on from there. When there are sad times, there's also time to celebrate, and of course persons are celebrating today, whether it's an anniversary, a special occasion, a birthday, whatever celebration that you are experiencing, or whatever celebration there is at this point in time. I say have fun and always give thanks for the opportunity to celebrate. And so those who are celebrating birthday today, I think of my good friend up there. He's in Mount Lily right now, Arthur France, here from New York, because I know he's posting all kind of fruits and so forth on Facebook. So he's enjoying himself. He's enjoying the fresh fruits that he have picked from his garden here in Mount Lily. And of course this is the time of the year for mangoes and guinea and what else, soursop and sugar apple and all those kind of things. This is a wonderful time of the year when you have a large amount of fruits that are being that are available to us, and so he's having fun doing so. And I want to say happy birthday to you, Arthur. And of course I also want to say happy birthday to another friend of mine, Nessa Rollins. Well, not Rollins, sorry. Where did I get Rollins from? Nessa Reynolds. She used to live up there in Mount Lily as well, in an area called Hag Valley. But she is no longer there, but she's still around, still here in Nevis. I met her many years ago, many years ago, back in the early 2000s, I believe. And she's still here and still enjoying this place called Nevis, place she has called home. So Nessa, enjoy your day today, have fun, and do so with some limitations as well too, yeah? And then this is a lady who now lives in St. Kitts, but I saw her on Thursday at the funeral there in Butlers at Manning's Seventh-day Adventist Church. Ophelia Williams, she was living over there in Brick Hill, in an area we call Cool Corner, I think we used to call it. Yeah, a corner over there as you pass Dick's Bar. And I saw her still looking good, still looking young, and still looking vibrant as ever. And so I believe there is something that we used to drink there in Brick Hill, or the air that is blowing through Brick Hill, that make these ladies still look young and still look vibrant and still look, still full of energy and what's not. So I want to say, enjoy your birthday today, Ophelia. I know you will. And give God thanks for seeing another birthday. And so those are what I have or those are who I have for today. And anyone else who is celebrating, happy birthday, happy anniversary, and enjoy yourself. Earlier this week though, my father, who lives down there in St. Croix, his correct name is Tom Quayle, but we just call him Wellington and other names, but I call him Pops as my way of recognizing him. He turned 80 on the 28th of July. So he's now 80 years old and still going. And I want to say happy belated birthday to your Pops here publicly on radio. I don't bring my family business to the airwaves per se, but I do have a father, yes. And we stay in touch and we are always having long conversations. I couldn't make it down to St. Croix on Monday because of the way the flights are out of Nevis. So at some point in the very near future, God's willing, I'll go down and spend a weekend or some time down there with him. But of course he would have had a lovely day on Monday, because of course my other siblings would have gone and spent time and of course the other family members who are down there in St. Croix. And he's still up and about, which is good. So there is some longevity there, and some strength as well for him still to be moving around, driving around, and enjoying life. So I want to say to you, Pops, continue to give God thanks for every day that you spend here on this earth. And I know the Lord will continue to bless you with many more years. So that's 80 years old and counting. Very good. And we thank God for that. Of course, yesterday, Basil Liebert up there at Hermitage, you call up there? That's going up there on the Hermitage plantation up that side where he lives. You know, he moves back and forth. Basil, happy belated birthday to you. Knowing you, I suspect you would have had a good time yesterday as well too, and still celebrating today. So there is nothing wrong with that. Continue to have fun, of course. And then Timiko Pemberton, I remember seeing that yesterday was his birthday as well. Timiko is the son of my good friend over there, Claristine Pemberton, over there at Nisbet Settlement. So Claristine, tell Timiko I call his name on radio and, to wish him happy belated birthday. And I know Timiko will continue to enjoy as well too. Tomorrow is a good friend of mine's funeral, Aquila Wallace. Those of us who don't normally call her Aquila, and those of you who don't know her by that name, that's a young lady. Her nickname is Kamfu. You know, lives up there at Cedarview Housing Development. She don't mind being called Kamfu. Kamfu, happy birthday when it comes tomorrow, and you do enjoy yourself as well. And I know you'll do so because you have your way of doing your own thing. So God bless you, and may He provide you with many more years of good health and strength as well. And of course, up in Barnes, got their friend of mine, Glenn Royce Sturge. He's also celebrating, brother of Vincia Sturge, yeah, and Shaquille Hobson, who is here from Bath Village. Shaquille, I wonder if he still work at TDC, but Shaquille has his own little business there, does power washing and the likes. And so if you know of Shaquille, you call him up and tell him you have a job for him. That would be your birthday gift to him. Just call him up and tell him you have somewhere to power wash, and he'll come and do that for you for a fee. So that is the exchange. You call him up, give him a job, and then you pay him. Okay? And then, of course, cousin of mine there, Tamaki. Tamaki have all kind of names, but anyway, he's a Jeffers from up there in Fountain. You know, a little chatterbox is, yeah? Tomorrow is his birthday, so I want to wish him happy birthday in advance as well. And then, of course, all those who will be celebrating on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, even down to Wednesday. I think my good friend Farida Hobson will be celebrating on Wednesday of this upcoming week. And then, of course, one of my brothers, Sean Green, who live down there in St. Martin, he'll be celebrating on Wednesday. So I'll have to call him up and wish him happy birthday at that time. So those are what I have. So I'll leave that for now before I run out of time here this afternoon. Time is going to be short for me. So let's move on quickly. Of course, like I said, we are in the heart of Culturama. Last night was the Soca Monarch 2. Tonight is the Calypso finals. I don't have all the name of the finalists here, but they've been broadcast here on Von Radio multiple times. And you'll hear that as well, or those names later today as well, as we go into tonight at 8 o'clock when the show gets going. But I want us all to go out and support all of the Calypsonians who are singing in the finals this evening. And so 8 o'clock is the start time, and I will say that you'll have a new king tonight. When I say a new king, the former king or the reigning king, Astro, has decided that he's not going to participate in this year's show. Be that as it may, you have some good calypsos to listen this evening, and the show should be of a high standard, I believe. All of the shows thus far have been good, and of course the turnout have been much better than what we would have heard or thought that it would have been up to this point in time. There were some negatives being spewed out there about Culturama, but the thing about Culturama is that Culturama is a time to have fun, go out, and as they say in local parlance, let your hair down and enjoy yourself, have a drink, meet friends and family who have returned, and just Spend the money that you have on yourself and enjoy yourself. And do not let anyone influence your thinking or your actions. When it's all said and done, they can stop there in their with their pity party, so to speak, but you go out and find yourself a party that you'll enjoy yourself in. Whether it's up at the village, down on the beach, or wherever an activity is held, go and have yourself a wonderful time and have a grand old party, and not no pity party around this time. Once a year Culturama comes around, and when it comes around, we just have to have fun. And people have been going out and having their fun, so they're going to go out tonight, have fun. Tomorrow they'll go down to the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park and have fun down there at the what you call it now, the food fair. And then of course tomorrow evening would be the 5-in-1, I believe it's called, wet fet and powder fet and all kind of things up there in the village. And then Sunday you have drag race. You also have in the evening you'll have the Miss Culture show, Queen show. And then of course on Monday is the big bacchanal on the road, which is Juve, Long Jam and everything, and Herbert Beach in the afternoon, but I talk about that a little later. But let me say welcome home to all of our returning nationals, visitors, and those who have come because of curiosity. We welcome you. I want to say to you that we welcome you because you could have chosen to go anywhere in the world at this point in time. Could have gone to anywhere else, but you have chosen to come to Nevis. Why? You understand and appreciate that Nevis is naturally nice. Nevis is nice. I sort of fused two slogans together, because we have tourism authority has this slogan or this tagline, Nevis naturally, and then there is also this tagline as well, Nevis nice. So I just said, man, Nevis is naturally nice. And that is why people have chosen to come home, and come home to celebrate, and come home to be a part of what is happening here and to enjoy what is here. And let me say, while you're here, many of you who live in New York, who live in Miami, who live in California, who live in England, who live wherever you are overseas, you would have heard a lot of negative being spewed about your beloved island of Nevis. And now you're here. This is the opportunity for you to put all those negative comments and narratives that you've been hearing out there, to put them to rest. Put them to rest. Go around Nevis. Some of you who have a rental vehicle, man, take it up and drive around. If your family have a vehicle and you can ask them to give you a tour, do so. If you want to have a different type of tour, one by the professionals, say a taxi operator, call him up, call her up and tell her, I want to get an island tour and I want to get as much as possible. So you can go around the whole of Nevis. All of the parishes in Nevis have something to offer. Whether you're going to go to a visit, you're going to go to the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park tomorrow, you'll get a feel as to what we call an area, a recreational area that has something to offer to everyone, to the children, for major events, parties and weddings and conferences, and also the if you want to just exercise, if you just want to just walk around the park and break a sweat, as they say, all that you can do down there at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. And of course you have all of the bars and restaurants down there at Penny's, and then you can jump into the ocean and take a swim. So you can have a wonderful time in one spot, so to speak, in the Penny's area. And of course if you want to move from there, you go, well, you can go to the Hot Pot down here. They've done some major works. That's the government have done some major improvement down there. The infrastructure is was upgraded and it's really looking fantastic down there. So you can go down there and patronize one or two of the small business operators down there who are selling stuff down there, like items, whatever items they're selling. You go there and you do some exploration and see what is there. And of course you take a dip in the hot springs, and you know what the benefits are. Go and get some of those therapeutic the therapeutic values and benefits that are available to you with those springs down there. And indeed, if you want to do other things, yes, I just spoke about restaurants. They're not just down at Penny's. All of the parishes have a restaurant or two, eateries, bars and shops, go around and patronize those small businesses. You can go up to Westbury, you can go into Cotton Ground, you can go into Jessup's, you can go up to Camps, you can go up to Butler's, you can go Brickhill, wherever. You can go around the other side, even down in Cox. Restaurants are down there, and you can go wherever they are. Just do your exploration and ask questions and patronize as many businesses as you can. Indeed, when you're up there as well, just spend some time there at the Holy Water Taxi facility and marvel at the beauty of that facility. You'd have heard a lot of negatives before, but that facility, I would tell you, would have created a buzz here on the island of Nevis. That is like the gateway to Nevis, so to speak, where you exit and enter Nevis. In large numbers, people are doing so. And of course, yes, Charlestown, you can still do that, but over there is one of those places that offer you a quick connection to St. Kitts, whether you're going over there to work, or whether persons are going for recreation, or whether they're leaving the Federation to fly out of St. Kitts. That's where people are leaving from. And over 1 million persons have passed through that facility thus far, which tells me that millions of dollars have been generated over there. And some people don't like to hear me talk about money being made over there. Yes, it was built to create that kind of business activity, whereby we knew from day one it should be, and it will be a revenue generating project whereby monies are generated, and so many people don't want to hear it from the other side, but we have to say it every time we open our mouth, because we got a lot of licks for that particular facility. But we knew what we were doing. We were delayed to some extent as we went along the way, but it is now over there, completed and providing the services that we intended to provide in the first place. So go over there and just sit and marvel. You can go on the restaurant next door on the rocks and just look at the activity back and forth with those Uber underwater, I call them, those water taxis. They just move back and forth. One docks and the other one is leaving. Yeah, and that's how we like it. And of course, as you drive along the island main road, those who haven't come for the last couple of years, you should be marveled at the point where you say, well, Nevis is really going in the right direction under the right leadership, because the roads are in extremely good shape. Well, you'll meet a little pothole here or there, but don't worry about that. When I say a little pothole, such as what it is, it would not impede your progress in any way. But I want to commend the guys who go around from time to time under the leadership of Clinton Dorr. He's the one who have a team who goes around and does all those patching of the road and make sure that the island main road is in the best possible shape. So when you're coming down from your long jam up there, I believe you start with Market Shop or up there at Beach Road. When you're coming down, you shouldn't be touching any or dropping into any pothole coming down there, because I drove that road not too long ago, earlier today, and I believe some patching was done in recent times, which is good. So you can drive around Nevis, and by and large, you'll be driving on smooth, well-kept and upgraded roads, yeah? And of course, while you're on the road, you can stop in over there at Cedar View Housing Development, one of the best on the island, and see what affordable income housing is like here on the island of Nevis. But not only the island of Nevis, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and I'll go further and say it's the best housing development within the OECS. And whoever wants to challenge me can do so. But I'm telling you, it's one of the best housing development in the OECS. Because you know what? We were always about revolutionizing housing here on the island of Nevis, and at least provide a template that others throughout the Caribbean can use. Because persons have come from different parts of the Caribbean and the world, so to speak, and have looked at those affordable income housing over there, and they say these are not affordable income housing. These are middle income. These are like a different type of housing that can rival what they have in other countries that they call middle income or upper middle income housing. And so we are proud of that particular housing development, along with all of the other housing developments here on the island of Nevis. So you can go up there, and if you're interested in getting one of those houses, just stop in at the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation down there at Pinnis, sign up for one, stay in touch with them, and they'll let you know exactly what process is required, or what process you can take in order to get one of those houses and so forth. So you, as a citizen of Nevis, you can have access to affordable income housing as well. While you're over in the St. James area, you can go through Butlers and have a look at that new development or the new infrastructure that was put in place there. And those who are from Butlers and who can recall what Butlers was like, you will be certainly impressed by the work that was done over there by Public Works or Public Works Department in ensuring that infrastructural upgrade was done in such a way to rival any infrastructural work, whether here, there, or wherever. So over there in Butlers, proper drainage, proper sidewalk, smooth surface, everything that was done well over there. And if you come out of Butlers, you can come down towards the Newcastle Pathway and take a left and go up towards VOJ Sporting Complex and beyond, and go up to the area we call University Heights, which is up there at Garner's. And why I'm telling you to go up there, yes, University Heights is there, and there's some housing there that was constructed for persons who would have gone abroad and attended or graduated from a 4-year college or university and have been back here in Nevis for 5 years or more. We have done that particular development to accommodate such persons because we were losing most of our bright and talented people from Nevis who would have become frustrated to some extent, who wanted to have access to housing while they're still paying for their student loan. We figure we could have put an affordable scheme in place to accommodate those persons. And so those houses were built. But more so, across from University Heights is what we call, well, not what we call, you're in Garner's, but the tract of land across from University Heights is what we are now about to sell to all nationals. And it is 36 acres of land. And some weeks ago, I would have done a video of that particular area. It was like a promotional video so that persons can be enticed to go over and buy a piece of land up there. So it's 36 acres of lands, and it indeed, that particular tract of lands give you a 360 view of Nevis and the Atlantic Ocean and also the Caribbean Sea and all of the surrounding areas. So you'll see the Atlantic Ocean and come right down into Booby Island and into the Caribbean Sea and all the way into the peninsula and into Frigate Bay and those areas. And of course you'll have the backdrop of Nevis Peak in the background and all other hills and valleys around you. So beautiful place to own a piece of land and also to construct your dream home eventually. So the inquiries can be done down there at the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation, and indeed I am encouraging you, while you're here on the island, go and do so. And indeed, if you can start the process now, you'll be in on the process early, so at least you should be able to get some priority in that case, because the file is kept and you can always say, I was there early, so how can I get take advantage of the sale, So go on down and get all of the information that you need. But more so I want you to also understand that we have done quite a bit to ensure not only roads are in place, but also water and electricity are the best that it can be at this point in time, and better than many around us. And why I say that, we can say it because the evidence is very clear. The evidence is clear that persons, islands and countries around us, water is turned off at 7 in the evening, maybe earlier, and it's off all night until maybe 5 in the morning for a couple of hours, and then it's off again. No such thing is happening in Nevis. Since you've come, and I'm speaking to those who have just come to the island over the last couple of days or whatever the case might be, since you've come, you know for a fact that every time you turn your tap on, water is there. It didn't come overnight. It was through work and being dedicated to the mandate that we were given, and that is to provide water 24/7 to the island and people of Nevis. Same thing with electricity. You may have had 1 or 2 outages, but if you listen to Von Radio, for example, and you follow the Facebook page of Nevlec, they would always give you some indication as to what is going on in terms of maintenance work that is being done on lines in certain parts of the island. So of course they would have to take off electricity at certain point in time. But by and large, since you've been here, electricity has been on, and it has been on for many years now, because we have done a remarkable job in upgrading that plant up there at Prospect. I recall in 2015 and 2014 and those years, we had some tumultuous times whereby electricity was going off. We had some major issues with some of the older generators up there. And then in 2016, we procured a brand new Wärtsilä generator. We did so again in 2021, and those two would have complemented the one that was bought in 2004. And all these things were bought by your CCM government with all the monies that they claim. Where the money gone? We have put the money into the infrastructure here in Nevis to make sure that things that people call basic, which are not so basic as far as I'm concerned, because these are mandates, yes, that are given to any government. But if that is the case, if they are basic, well, how come certain countries around us, including St. Kitts, which is next door, cannot provide these basic things to their people? Yeah? So if that is the case and if they're basic, well, if people are failing at providing basic items and infrastructure to their people, then they should be in trouble as a government, not CCM though, because as basic as they claim these things are, they cost money, big money too, because we have spent more than $50 million on water upgrade here in Nevis. Brand new tanks, brand new pumps, brand new distribution lines. And the same thing with the Nevlec plant up there where I just spoke about, where we have spent millions of dollars. I believe one of those generators averaged somewhere around 13.5 million EC dollars, sorry. The most recent one would have been a little bit more, but at least we have spent millions of dollars. Where we have spent millions, the other people who were there would have taken up millions and given to a company around here to pump water to us, when we know we can pump our own water, manage our own water system, manage our own water network. So more times for that, because sometimes you just have to hear and pretend you don't hear, because some of the things that you hear just don't make sense sometimes. But I will tell you, when it comes to the infrastructure, when it comes to the social network here in Nevis, anything to do with health, we've done a marvelous job. You go up to the hospital, you'll see a nice little container on the outside of the front of the emergency room there. That is a CT scan machine, first to be bought in the Federation, or maybe regionally as well too. CT scan, it's one of the high-tech stuff that we would have bought, well, not bought, but it was donated to the island of Nevis. But we would have had to put forward that proposal because we saw the need for it, and you know, we were able to procure that for and on behalf of the people of Nevis, plus all other equipment and so forth that have been procured by this government for the Alexandria Hospital. And then of course you hear it being said, and it's a fact, that you have doctors up there in all different speciality, all different areas. So you know, that hospital is well managed and well kept and providing the services that it should. So if you get a chance, those of you who are visiting, go up and commend the doctors. Say thank you for looking after the people of Nevis. We appreciate what you're doing, and continue to press on in your effort to provide top-notch health care to the people of Nevis. Not like the other side who want to cuss our doctors around here, or young doctors. We ain't in that. What we're doing is to, you know, uplift our young people, uplift the doctors and all those who are working up there at the Alexandria Hospital. We wanted to continue to look after all of the patients that are there. Okay? So, many other things you can look at here in Nevis. If you want to go up to our agro-processing unit, up to the marketing division, I know you want to eat out sometimes, but you can go home and prepare yourself something nice and fresh too. You know, they have fresh vegetables and so forth up there at the marketing division. You can buy some agro-processed stuff. You can even buy, you know, items that you can make your smoothie at home while you're here. Fresh stuff, nothing out of the supermarket, straight out of the fields here on Nevis and straight into your kitchen. And then you can go down to the abattoir as well too, you know. And those of you who are lovers of meat, you can buy your mutton, your pork, your sausages, bacon, at least 30 different processed items you can buy from down there at the abattoir. Gary and his team is doing a fantastic job up there. Go up and buy some local stuff, man. These are things processed from, you know, our locally raised, farm-raised animals around here, or cattle that are roaming around here. Those are what they use. So go up and enjoy those things. But one of the important things I want you to check out while you're here, though, one of the important things is that the government would have introduced a return in national and diaspora investment policy. Return in national and diaspora investment policy. And, you know, they have done something upgrade to the return in nationals policy that they would have had to include persons who are coming back home to, for example, invest in a business or in areas that are considered priority areas by the government. So I want you to go down to the Ministry of Finance and do some inquiries there. We want you to return to Nevis to contribute to the development of the island of Nevis. Things are getting hard in the outer world. Things are getting difficult, and you don't want to be under that kind of stress out there where you are going down the road and people are harassing you. You want to be in Nevis where you can get up and you go about your business and free and clear of any harassment and anyone meddling in your business, so to speak. Yeah, the whole world is in turmoil right now. One of the only places on Nevis that is peaceful and tranquil is the island of Nevis. So come home to Nevis to contribute to the development of Nevis. So right down there at the Ministry of Finance, you can go and get an update on this new policy. That is the return in national or diaspora investment policy. And of course, like I said, there are some priority areas if you want to establish a business, whether it's in specialized medical care with some emphasis on diagnostic services, information technology, technical and vocational skills development training, or in hotel and resort development, light manufacturing, professional services like accounting, auditing, construction management, and architecture, call or contact centers, agro-processing, agriculture, recycling and waste disposal, or any alternative green energy investment. Those things are priority areas that someone at the Ministry of Finance can update you and take you through the process. There are additional incentives available to you in these areas. And one of the areas that we can see some ways you can exploit and develop is that now you have this ban on plastic plate and fork and so forth. You can always look at any area that you can get into to ensure that we are providing those similar type items, but in a way that they're in a biodegradable form, so you don't have to invest in plastics which are banned anymore. But all those things, you can get some information down there at the Ministry of Finance, and it's worth doing so while you're on this trip. It's not all fun and frolic. Mix it up with some business. Start to plan and start to put the process in place so that at some point you're coming back to the island of Nevis to contribute to its development. Yeah, I thought I'll spend some time on that, but I'll move on from that right now and move on to something else, because I spoke about Culturama, but I didn't touch the Herbert Beach affair, which is, that is the thing that I always get giddy up about around this time. I always get excited about Herbert Beach and the Herbert Beach affair, because we've been doing this for the last 28 years. This is 28 years now. Started when? In 1997, thereabout. So it is certainly one of those things that I pay keen interest in, and something that I'm always excited about around this time. So the Herbert Beach affair will be held on the 4th of August. That is Monday coming. And you've heard the advertisement here on Von Radio over the past couple of days. And indeed, we have started in the process of cleaning and clearing, which that is being done at this point in time. And of course, we'll start putting up the lights, and the pretty lights I'm talking about, and all of the bright lights to provide the security down there. And then tomorrow we'll start the process of constructing those booths for the booth operators who are going to come there and sell their food and their drinks and so forth. And indeed, stage will be put up down there so that we can accommodate the bands and DJs who will be there. And indeed, if I were to go through some of the details, let me say that we start down there at 12 noon on Monday. 12 noon on Monday. And then we go until 12 midnight, same night. So it's 12 to 12. And of course, we'll have the Small Axe Band will be there. Collision Band will be there. Garlic and his upper level band will be there, and I want to commend Garlic. I don't want to go into details, but Garlic would have done a lot of work to make sure he get onto the stage down there. He said he love his fans and he'll do anything to get down there to perform for his fans. And Garlic, we appreciate the effort, and we look forward to you being there and performing just like Garlic always does. Wherever he perform at Nevis, once I know, I'm going there to listen and to have a dance, because Garlic is the ultimate and the best entertainer there is, here on the island of Nevis. Then of course you'll have DJs such as DJ Lalbo, DJ Zimba, and indeed you'll have the Honeybee String Band and the Sugar Hill String Band. So we have a packed lineup for you from anywhere from 4 until it is just music all the way. We had a bingo down there last year and the year before. I said last week we're not doing so again this year. Bingo take away from the fun and the frolic that people should have. You have that little break where you're calling out numbers and people are not too pleased about it. And so we decided to go back to the usual thing where music from the time we start until we end. So we'll have string band at 4, and then, I forget. Oh man, how can I forget Itabulus? I am sorry, Itabulus. Yeah, he'll be on stage down there as well. So we'll start with the string band at 4, and then of course we go into Itabulus, then we go into Small Axe, then we go into what's his name there, Garlic and the upper level band, and then we go into Collision Band, and then of course in between you have the DJs, DJ Lalbo and DJ Zimba. So music from start to end. Can't miss a beat down there. So come down and enjoy yourself on Monday. Just to give us a little taste of the vibes that we have sometimes. I think I have 2 songs that I want to play. They've been around for some time, but every time I hear them, they sound fresh, So I want to start with this jingle that we got from the Small Axe Band, who will be there, like I said, some years ago, 12 to 12 to 12. Yeah. If my technician, the DJ, have it ready, let's play that, and then we'll go into the second one from King Miko.
Yes, Nevis Culturama in the blast down with the backsman, baby. Yes, Small Axe Band taking you there. Ding 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 there. I want you to follow me to lovely Queen City. And when we get there, we take you to the Herbert Beach up there. Of course, it doesn't, they have a concert display. There is lots of things to do, make our dreams come true. We go in 36 hours of pure fun. And if you can take the jam, but please don't come. We going from 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. I want to take you there to the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. Small Axe Band will be where? At the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. Lord, I think you do that. Hey, line, touch your time. Reach out me for good job. I like that. If you come from SKB to the World Virgin Island, the USA or Europe, you will like our style. For me, they will start the boating race meet. Hotel food and drink, all that you can eat. And when the night rolling, music so sweet, you must find a Yankee chick to sweep you off your feet. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. Lambs and ladies will be there at the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. Yes! From 12 to 12 until 12. The horse will be where? At the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. Murder! Oh la la, eh la la. I think Herbert Beach up there. No matter what the dish, all the asking for is a fish. With lots of local drinks, you better help yourself. Cause for those who looking help, sarsaparilla on the shelf. When the jamming come to an end, come back again. The party's so sweet, it's very good friends meet. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. Even the general will be there, and the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. From 12 to 12 until 12. They go see the simply where at the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. Small as the will be where at the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. The powerhouse will be where at the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. Lashing dog will be where at the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12. Crab and dumpling be there at the Herbert Beach up there. From 12 to 12 until 12.
Bring the piece of the thing inside it.
Yo, King Nico!
Eh?
I want you to have them hand this here, pump!
Get it! Small like spot. Miko! Drop! Some rebels jamming last year, Juve. They said the culture ain't much fun. The liar. Years ago they used to break away when soul survivors coming down. Get it? They say all the cultural flavor disappear from the Culturama. The festival is sweet, no more. On the street there's no folklore. So I ask them if there's a problem. How come so much people calling more? Give me more. Everybody shouting for encore. Yes, 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 yes. I'm Weber Herbert on the playground, spinning the children round and round. And at the end of the day when the show is done, everyone will have lots of fun. Oh, come cause I'm 40 and I'm jolly. I'm 40, I'm full of energy. 40, 40, 40, 40. Huh. 40, 40, 40, 40. So come join the bacchanal. Herbert Beach bacchanal. All them street bacchanal. In the heat bacchanal. So come join the bacchanal. One rate your bacchanal. The Kaiso bacchanal. The Queen Show bacchanal. Oh, get on, get on, get on, get on. Get on, get on, get on, get on. It's an endless action. The whole I leave is broke down. Get it? Gimme, gimme, gimme. It's 40 years of Culturama. Plenty fun, like plenty fun. Action tight fetting all over, with Casanova coming down. With all them Vivian woman, it's trouble in the long jam. Plenty bottom in your face. Hit in the place. So come party, we making 40. Lego in the pan, and get on, wassy. Bacchanal in Green City. Yes, 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 yes. Two bats in the long 90. Gyrating on Eulalie. I'm Tita Lowen from Cotton Grove. Turning the parade upside down. I'm 40, and I'm jolly. I'm 40, a full activity. A 40, 40, 40, 40. A 40, 40, 40, 40. So come join the bacchanal. Herbert Beach bacchanal. The swimwear bacchanal. The food fair bacchanal. Come the bacchanal, Juve bacchanal, the breakway bacchanal, the all day bacchanal. Get on, get on, get on, get on. Get on, get on, get on, get on. Yeah, Miss Juve morning, the whole of Davis jumping. Get it. Small axe and me come from Mother. This one, rough. I'm dressing who show up everywhere. You walking up like he don't care. I'm Poopa with her on the stage, putting the audience in a rage. Oh, bomb, I'm 40, and naturally I'm 40. I'm full of energy. I'm 40, 40, 40, 40. I'm 40, 40, 40, 40. So come join the bacchanal, Mr. Cool bacchanal, all them school bacchanal, the teenage bacchanal. So come join the bacchanal, cool down bacchanal, you welcome bacchanal. Oh, come, get on, get on, get on, get on. Get on, get on, get on, get on. Bring no fight in the jam. You want a peaceful session. Bring no fight in the jam. You want a peaceful session. Mother.
Okay. Thank you very much, DJ. I had to turn up the volume in my headset to get the full effects of that, yeah? Very nice. And you know, that bring on a different kind of vibes. Every time you hear those songs, you know, they bring on some kind of nostalgia, you know? Feels good. So, what those songs are suggesting to us? Culturama is alive and well, and the vibes is certainly there. So, this is the 51st anniversary, so let us go out and have fun. Before I go any further, quickly, I'm running out of time. I did not forget, but I was running along so quickly that I forgot to mention, and I use the word forgot, but not necessarily forgot, but I overlooked this, that today marks 55 years since we experienced the Christina disaster, which was in 1970. So the 1st of August 1970 was that major disaster where over 233 lives were lost. 91 persons survived. So that boat would have had on, Christina that is, had on just about 324 persons. From my recollection, my understanding is that that boat was designed to carry just about 150 persons. So it was overloaded, and some lives were lost. And I will say that it is a disaster, one of the worst we've had in the history of St. Kitts and Nevis. But some lessons have been learned, and of course the maritime laws and so forth have been updated, and so as to ensure that we don't have a similar disaster now or in the future. But we must remember those who would have perished in that particular disaster. It should not escape us at any point in time that we went through a difficult situation back in 1970, and whatever transpired then would have shaped the foundation of this particular country, this federation, then and now, and of course on that foundation we'll continue to build to ensure that we have prosperity here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. But let us not forget those persons who would have perished, and let us not forget that disaster in all of the fun and frolic that we are having this weekend. That being said, like I said, you're invited down to Herbert Beach. Bring your armchair, your lawn chair, if you're in a wheelchair, but bring something that you can sit and listen to the music. We'll have tents there for you to sit under to protect you from the heat, or if there is any rain or anything of that sort. So you come down and have a good time with us on Monday. And indeed, if you're jamming on the street, be safe. Let us have a crime-free celebration. And keep in mind that this is just for a time. After the festival is done, we have to get back to building this island. So we have to keep ourselves in shape. If you're driving, don't drink and drive. And sometimes we forget about the smoking. But if you're smoking, do not do it in a sense that you can become impaired if you were to, smoke more than you should. Yeah? So, be responsible at this point in time, and remember that you can certainly be irresponsible to the point where you cause someone else's death, and we don't want that. Okay? So let us be responsible people, responsible citizens. Okay, that's the end of my show for today. Thank you very much for listening, and as I always say, if you go to church on a Saturday, go and serve your God. If you go on Sunday, do likewise. Pray for this station, pray for the management and the workers, pray for myself, pray for the whole Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and we certainly would say may God continue to bless us all, protect us throughout this weekend, and so we can be around to continue building this island. Thank you once again. It was indeed my pleasure, and be safe. Have a wonderful time out there. Thank you and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do